Hello, hello. I need to come up with a good tagline for this. So, my name is Cheyenne. I'm a women's health and fitness coach, and I work specifically on improving like our mental health and healing from the inside out. Today, I'm sharing kind of my process for navigating triggers and like trauma that I still am holding in the body, and kind of what that's, I guess, looked like for me. If you're new here, what I do is I just write down my thoughts at nighttime because that's when they seem to come to me. And then I just go off of my notes here and it helps keep me on track. So let's get to it. So last year and a half, I've been healing from, I was in an abusive relationship and have complex post-traumatic stress disorder. So I've chosen the no medication route. If you've watched my stuff in the past, I have previously been on antidepressants, anti-anxiety meds, sleep aids for my mental health before. And I came off of everything through diet, lifestyle, and just really healing myself on the inside, right? And who I am. So it was a hard decision because part of me was like, okay, this could make it a lot easier to navigate, right? Because it kind of helps suppress everything. But at the same time, it's a trauma and I don't want to suppress it. I don't want to keep those emotions stuck in there. As much as I dislike that they kind of come out and I feel triggered, it's gotten a lot better, but that they come out how they do, I find it frustrating at times, but then I have to, it's a good reminder, like to be kind to myself, give myself that grace and compassion, because then at least I'm getting it out instead of holding it in, because for a long time I had no choice but to hold it in. I had started talk therapy, not that this is sponsored or anything, but with BetterHelp. It worked out wonderful. I ended up with a lady named Linda. She was literally a godsend, literally. So I'd started that prior to leaving the relationship. I continued that for 6 months after. And then I kind of felt like I had done quite a bit of counseling and talk therapy in the past from things. So I had already a very good, she was amazing. She helped me in making that decision and realizing like what I needed to do. I don't know if it's going to get better. What I needed to do to recognize what I needed to do for me, right? Like to get out of it. So she did so many amazing things. But then after that, after the 6 months after leaving, and because I did have quite a bit of the base knowledge, I was kind of like, okay, like what do I need now? And I had started my spiritual journey. So coming out of it, I should probably do a whole thing on that too, and how I was drawn to that, if you're interested. But I had started that when I first got out of that relationship. So I kind of just dove into that more. I was like, this has brought me a lot of peace. It surrounded me with just a lot of really great, like, I don't know, just a really calm, good people. I'm very blessed that like I found the community in the church that I did. And yeah, I just felt like I needed to go into that more at that time. So I was attending like the women's Bible study things. I was going to recovery church. I was going to morning church a fair bit. I was doing this Alpha course too around that time. Yeah, there was a lot of things going on that I felt like it was helping me in the way I needed to. It was kind of like more connecting me to me instead of just like talking it out, if that makes sense. So yeah, it helped in some way, but my body was still reacting, even though my mind knew logically we're okay. So that's where I was at with it. I was like, okay, I know logically like what's happened, what's going on. I don't need to be scared, but like my body's still reacting. I'm still getting my heart rate's just racing at times. I'm getting cold sweats. I'm feeling like someone's coming after me. Like even though logically I'm like, okay, I know I'm safe, my body is still feeling that way. I'm still having a hard time eating. Like there's still things that were it felt like it was stuck. So yeah, I was like, okay, we got to do something different. And that's when I kind of like dove more into my relationship with God. Yeah, I just said, I don't know if this is really important, but comparatively with all that, maybe just so you know, so if you're in that position yourself, or if you've just gotten out of it, like you feel like there's maybe, I felt a lot of frustration with myself that I was still feeling those things and emotions and blah, blah, blah for a while. So in the beginning, to compare the progress from doing these things and just like staying committed to it and believing like you can get through this, right? I would just shut down completely. Yeah, I couldn't be around everyone or anyone. There was times like my mom would walk into the room and like I felt like it was him coming at me again. Like it was not good. So I went from that, feeling very numb, not in control of my body for, it could be like a few days or so at a time back then, to now, I can have it probably half a day where I wasn't present. I was very disconnected during those like 3 to 5 days. And now it's like half a day to a day, depending. Okay. So what I started doing on top of kind of my God journey because I mean, again, having a community is like going to these things, although that is great and like having a community is good and like doing those things and getting out there and realizing that there are just like people who are for you and not against you when you've been in a very against situation was very healing, but I still felt a little stuck. So I started venturing into yoga, breath work, and then learning ways to relax the body and nervous system. And yeah, and I'm still discovering this. So I have felt like a lift. I've felt how things are shifting, but I know there's still more, right? Yeah. So I've gotten my disconnect and triggered state down to about half a day or ish. So what has been working for me to kind of like sum it up here for you? First of all, like the foundations that I follow. So that is my steps, my water, my protein, my sleep, and weight training at least 3 days a week. Studies show that 25-minute sessions per week improve mental health. I can't remember the percentage rates. And it's also something important to consider is how you are performing, I guess, the exercise, not to make it sound complicated, but a lot of people, and I was guilty of this too, when we come out of a HIIT style cardio, go, go, go type of workouts all the time, we can kind of just go into that thinking that's how we're supposed to do it with our weight training. And it's actually more beneficial and you get more of that reconnection with your body when you slow it down and tempo it. We'll have to do one on that too. Okay, but following those foundations, this just helps you heal and it puts your body in that safe space again over time. So you're nourishing your body, you are getting that movement in, you're keeping it hydrated, you're getting that rest in. Like it's all the foundations of giving your body like that stable, yes, we are being taken care of environment, right? That is always going to be like your first layer of what you want to be looking at. Like, where do I maybe need to improve in these 5 things? And if you need those 5 things, I have a resource that lists them all up. So just let me know. Yeah. So then steps for triggers, like in the moment. At first it kind of scared me. So I was like trying to hold it back. I didn't want to like go all out, stuff like that. But what I've learned is like, don't try to hold it back. And I mean, you want to just allow yourself to feel it and acknowledge it. And something interesting that I learned is if you don't allow the thoughts, if you can, and this is hard at first, but if you don't allow the thoughts to continue doing their thing, you can get it wrapped up in about 90 seconds, usually. Not saying that this was the case for me or like everyone, right? Because it took practice for me to be able to control anything once I was already in that very panic fear state. So what I had to do was I started doing box breathing daily and like just randomly when I wasn't feeling triggered, right? And that kind of helps you learn, like your brain's learning it in a safe space. So it's not like you're pulling out this tool whenever it's feeling freaked out. You could have a safe moment and just laying in your bed and like trying to fall asleep and it's just calm, right? Or maybe you're eating dinner and after dinner you just want to take a few deep breaths and like just be calm. Like just doing it in times when you're not already in that heightened state, because you can teach yourself like, okay, like this is what we do once we get into that heightened state. Like you're it's a familiar thing. But I think like part of possibly the PTSD part of it is like it takes that time, right? So you might be fine just going straight into it, but if you have something else that's you're needing to work through or release, then I found I had to practice it before. I wasn't able to just do it in the moment like that. I needed to practice it and be like, okay, this is like a safe thing for me to do even during this time. And so that's really helped me. I did the box breathing specifically. So that's the four inhale, 4 hold, 4 exhale, 4 hold. And you just keep on doing that until my heart rate would come down. And then I would journal and kind of process my feelings and thoughts. And I'd be doing box breathing like in between this because you're not wanting to bring up more repetitive thoughts. But if you're journaling it, it's kind of slowing down your thought process, right? So it allows you to like feel, acknowledge, let it out in a processed way, but it is still bringing up emotion, right? So my heart would still kind of start fluttering, but then it's like, okay, box breathing and bring it down, refocus. Okay, how am I feeling? What's going on? And if it started getting panicky again, but typically it would be like after maybe 1 or 2 of those, then it would just be the emotions flying out, right? Yeah. Or rage. That's another one too. I don't know if I should get into that. I didn't actually put that in here, but just like screaming or like hitting things. I had a boxing bag here that I was able to just like go ham on. That's also another way to get energy out, but like you want to be safe about it. Obviously, you don't want to just be like going crazy. I heard it was a podcast about a lady was saying, and she does this work with her clients, and so it is coming from like the proper space, but she will recommend, and it's for people who, and I felt this too, like it was like a bad thing to feel angry, right? Like we've kind of been, angry is bad. You don't feel angry or like show anger. So you kind of just suppress it and then it comes out as tears sometimes instead, kind of idea. But she gets her clients to get like I can't remember what type of bat she called it, or a broom, and then just like hit like the mattress or like something soft where it doesn't matter, just to like get the anger out. And she calls them rage release rituals, I think it was. What was her name? Anne Marie Green, I think. But anyway, yeah, so that's what she gets her, I guess, clients sometimes to do, which I thought I was like, oh, this is why. Like, I understand why I was having those like moments. And I just kind of went with it, right? I was like, okay, we're just going to let it out however we need to. And so I found out like my kind of things that I was doing, but this is actually something she gets her clients to do. And I was like, oh, okay, that's why I did that. So it was interesting when we start tuning in to like trust ourselves and doing what we need to, and then getting moving afterwards. After one of those sessions, I feel like kind of frozen. I don't really know what to do. Like my thoughts are all jumbled. So something that I have found helpful is like forcing myself to get out, because before that I was just making myself kind of sit, stay in a safe space, right? When in reality, like going outside, going for a walk is really way better for you, and it is safe, right? I'm not in any danger logically, really realistically out there. I'm getting outside, moving, expending my energy. Time, like when I first was very heightened, I would do things more like stretching or yoga, but typically like I'd still go for a walk every day with Rambo anyways, right? So it would kind of depend, like, do I need to go for a walk right now, or like do I need to do stretching and yoga? Because also if I'm going for a walk, I'm usually bringing Rambo. Is that going to be more beneficial for my nervous system or not? Right? So little things like that, just to like I kept in mind for myself. And then typically I do feel a lot of fatigue the next day, and I was really hard on myself for this for a long time. But it's you are releasing a lot, and your body then has to like recover in a way. It's like, okay, like we've just held on to this stuff for 1, 2, 5, 10 years, more even, right? So releasing that, it's going to be almost like, I don't know if this is actually proper, but like feels like a void on, well, not a void, it's like this kind of like lift, but also your body's like, oh, that was so hard. Like, we had to let it, like, we let it go, but it was like exhausting to get it out. I don't know. It's very strange journey. But yeah, I thought I would just kind of show that to you. So keeping those foundations, the 5 foundations, 5 steps, message me if you want anything to kind of like sum those up so you can follow them for yourself. And then don't try to hold it back. Always allow yourself to just like free flow it. Box breathing was great for me. Find what works best for you. Physiological sighs, I think, are another good one. I just found the box breathing, like belly, specifically belly box breathing. So breathing into your belly is really helpful for me. And then journaling, processing it, and then getting moving and expending that energy. And then giving yourself grace the next day if you're feeling really tired, because that's okay. So yeah, I hope this was helpful. And if you liked it, don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button, and follow along for more. See you soon.